What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'll be taking a look at the entry list for the 2024 Focus Health 250 S Circuit of the Americas. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. We're going to start and talk about the 00 car for Stewart Haas Racing. This one's going to be driven by Cole Custer. Cole Custer is a pretty good road course racer. He's had a solid start to the 2024 season, but 2 of his 3 wins last year in 2023 came on road courses, that being at Portland and also at Chicago. I think Cole Custer is going to be a threat at contender, and I do expect that Cole Custer will have a really great chance and opportunity to get win 1 of 2024. Up next, how about the 1 car for Junior Motorsports? This will once been to be driven by Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer's had a rough start to the 2024 season, but we are going to a type of track where he's been really dominant at. 3 of Sam Mayer's 4 wins in the Xfinity Series, I believe, have come at road courses. So I expect Sam Mayer to be a major threat and contender to get the victory done this weekend. I think he'll be up front going for the win. Up next, how about the 2 car for Richard Childress Racing? This will once again be driven by Jesse Love. Jesse Love's off to a very impressive start in 2024 as he's led a lot of laps and has finished in the top 5 in multiple races this season, or in the top 10 especially. I expect Jesse Love to be an outside chance. I don't think he's an amazing road racer up to this point, but I certainly think that Jesse Love will have a decent chance and opportunity with a car that has been historically good. Up next, how about the 4 car for JD Motorsports? This is still to be announced at this moment. This car has been driven by Dawson Cram all season, but unfortunately Dawson Cram will not be running the 4 car this weekend. So it's unclear who's getting behind the wheel. Maybe someone like a Matt DiBenedetto perhaps might get a chance and opportunity, or someone out of nowhere gets a chance like a Garrett Smithley. It's unclear at this point. Nonetheless, it's still TBN who's going to drive this car. Up next, how about the 5 car for our Motorsports? This will once again be driven by Anthony Alfredo. Anthony Alfredo's off to a pretty decent start in 2024. I believe he's still in the top 20 points currently at the moment, and has had some pretty solid finishes throughout the season. He'll be looking to have a good run with our Motorsports and looks to have a very strong run in the 5 car this weekend at Circuit of the Americas. Up next, how about the 6 car for JD Motorsports? This weekend, Ty Dillon will be getting behind the wheel, and I believe he'll be making his second start, or his first start of the 2024 Xfinity Series season. Ty Dillon's had a rough year in the Truck Series up to this point, so getting this road course experience should definitely help him, especially this weekend. He needs a good run to try to help the 6 team in the owner standings. Up next, how about the 07 car for SS Greenlight Racing? This will be driven by Danny Cavilla, who will make his 2nd or 3rd career Xfinity start. His last Xfinity Series start driving a 26 car for Sam Hunt Racing, he finished inside the top 15. And while I don't think he's going to be a major threat and contender to get a chance, I think he does have a chance to maybe get a top 20 if the speed is there for the SS Greenlight machine. Up next, how about the 7 car for Junior Motorsports? This will once again be driven by Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier is one of the best road course racers in the field. Has been off to a decent start in 2024, but hasn't been the best start for his standards. I do think that Justin Allgaier will be a threat and contender to get it done. I think he'll have some good pace and speed, and I expect him to have a really good chance and opportunity to win this weekend at COTA. Up next, how about the 8 car for Junior Motorsports? This will once again be driven by Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith's off to a pretty solid start in 2024, where I believe he's finished in the top 10 in 4 of the 5 races this season. I do believe that Sammy Smith will have a decent chance and opportunity, but the 8 car has not been great at road courses recently. Let's see what he can do this weekend, though, with Junior Motorsports, and we'll see if he can get that 8 car maybe to victory lane for the first time this season in 2024. Up next, how about the 9 car for Junior Motorsports? This will once again be driven by Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones has actually been off to a much better start in 2024 than last year went. While he did have issues last time he ran at COTA, he has actually been okay at road courses. Though I don't expect him to be a big threat and contender for the victory, I certainly do believe that Brandon Jones will have a good chance and opportunity to potentially get a top 10 this weekend at COTA. We'll see what he can do and see how he'll perform this weekend at Circuit of the Americas. Up next, how about the 11 car for Kaulig Racing? This will once again be driven by Josh Williams. This season so far for Josh Williams has been extremely rough. He's had a lot of bad performances, and right now only has 1 top 15 finish to show for it. But He's had a little more pace at times. He's just been caught up in a lot of incidents. Now, historically, Josh Williams, while yes, he's going to be in a Kaulig racing machine, I do think I'm a little worried about Josh Williams simply because of the fact that Josh Williams has not been absolutely killer to start the season. We'll see what he can do and see if he can bounce back, but honestly, I'm not sure if he is going to be able to bounce back this weekend at COTA. Up next, how about the 14 car for Estes Greenlight Racing? This ride is also still to be determined at this point and to be announced. It could be Daniel Suarez's chance and opportunity. Again, we saw him run at Daytona, and I would think he wanted to get a chance there. Maybe even Ross Chastain could get behind the wheel this weekend, but it's not entirely sure at this point, or might get another road course racer. We don't know. Nonetheless, it's unclear he'll be behind the wheel of the 14 car at the moment. Up next, how about the 15 car for AM Racing? This will once again be driven by Hailie Deegan. Hailie Deegan does have a new sponsor with this weekend with Cody Jinks going on board with her team, but Hailie Deegan's actually not ever had a great season, but the last time he ran here at COTA in the Truck Series, she actually had a top 5 run going before she had some mistakes with Caden Honeycutt. I do think that Hailie Deegan is a decent road racer. She almost won her class in basically the Michelin Pilot Challenge last year, so I certainly could see Hailie Deegan having a decent performance and maybe getting a top 15 at Circuit of the Americas. Up next, how about the 16 car for Kaulig Racing? This will once again be driven by AJ Allmendinger. AJ Allmendinger is off to kind of a little bit of an iffy start in 2024, but he is one of the big favorites going into the weekend. He won his race last year, 2023, and we certainly know that the Kaulig Racing cars always show up and are always up front in road races. So I expect AJ Allmendinger to have a really great chance and a strong opportunity to contend for the win and get win number 1 of 2024. Up next, how about the 17 car for Hendrick Motorsports? This weekend, the 17 is back with Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson has not won Xfinity Series last year with Kaulig Racing, but has not been able to get the 17 car to victory lane at this point. But I think Kyle Larson is one of the favorites. Now, they need to show a lot more speed than they did at Phoenix if Larson's going to have a chance, but if there's anybody in the field that could take a car that's a little bit iffy and make it good, it is definitely going to be Kyle Larson. Up next, how about the 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This will once again be driven by Sheldon Creed. Sheldon Creed is off to a really strong start in 2024. Outside of the really iffy run that he had at Las Vegas, he's been really, really good. And Sheldon Creed is a pretty good road course racer along with driving a car that is extremely fast. I do expect that Sheldon Creed is going to have a solid shot and opportunity to contend for the victory. I think he'll be one of the favorites going into this weekend at Circuit Americas in that number 18 car. Up next, how about the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This weekend, it'll be driven by Ty Gibbs, who will make his first of, I think, 2 starts in 2024. Ty Gibbs is one of the favorites going into this race. He's won some Xfinity Series road course races in the past, including last year at the Indianapolis road course. I do believe that he is going to be a pretty big threat to get it done this weekend in the 19 and might be able to help Joe Gibbs another victory and go for 3 in a row this weekend in Xfinity. Up next, how about the 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This will once again be driven by John Hunter Nemechek. John Hunter Nemechek has been a decent road racer in the past, but he's using this Xfinity Series race to get better on road courses for the Cup Series. I think John Hunter will be a threat to win, but he's been a little iffy on the truck side and even the Xfinity side at times, so we'll see what he can do this weekend. I think he does have a shot if he can keep his nose clean and not make any mistakes out on the racetrack this weekend in the 20. Up next, how about the 21 car for Richard Childress Racing? This will once again be driven by Austin Hill. Austin Hill's off to a great start in 2024. He has finished in the top 5 in all 4 races this season. His average finish is a 3rd place. And Austin Hill has been decent at road courses. So I do think that Austin Hill, while I don't think he's a front runner to win, I think he will have a chance and opportunity to maybe get his 5th straight top 5 finish in a row. We'll see what he can do this weekend with Rich Childress Racing at Circuit of the Americas in the 21. Up next, how about the 24 car for Sam Hunt Racing? This weekend, we will see the debut of Ed Jones in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Ed Jones, a former driver in IndyCar who drove, I think, for Chip Ganassi Racing, also, I think, for Ed Carpenter Racing as well. He'll make his debut this weekend. He's looking to make the show. Obviously, the 24 car needs to qualify in on owner's points because they don't have a lot of owner's points currently at the moment. So we'll see if Ed Jones can make the show because the last time he ran here in the 20 car, the Little Caesars machine, he unfortunately had technical problems. Up next, top of the 26 car for Sam Hunt Racing. This one once again be driven by Sage Karam, will make his second start of 2024. Sage Karam is a pretty underrated super speed racer, and the last time he drove for Sam Hunt Racing on a road course, he nearly won the race at Road America. So while I'm not picking him to win, I certainly think he could be a contender, even though the field is extremely stacked this weekend at Circuit Americas in both Cup and Xfinity. We'll see what Sage Karam can do, and we'll see if he can have a really strong run this weekend in the number 26 car. Up next, top of the 27 car for Jordan Anderson Racing. This will once again be driven by Jeb Burton. Jeb Burton's off to kind of an okay start in 2024, but his teammates definitely been a little better, that being Parker Retzlaff. But to Jeb's credit, he's had some decent performance in the past, and we'll see if he can run good at COTA. He's been okay at COTA in the past. We'll see if he can have a good run this weekend at Circuit Americas in the number 27 car. Up next, how about the 28 car for RSS Racing? There'll be a new driver behind the wheel of the 28 cars. Kyle Sieg is going to sit out, and Kaz Grala is going to be getting behind the wheel of the 28 car. First time will be in an RSS car this season. Kaz Grala is going to be in the underrated category this weekend because we know that Kaz Grala is a pretty solid road racer. I don't think he's going to win, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised or shocked by the end of the weekend if he does have a chance and opportunity to get a top 10 in the 28 car for RSS Racing. Up next, how about the 29 car for RSS Racing? This will once again be driven by Blaine Perkins. Blaine Perkins has had surprisingly some good runs this year in 2024. He had a top 15 run, I think, at Daytona. Has had a couple good showings throughout the season. While I don't expect him to set the world on fire with RSS Racing, he could surprise a lot of people. Up next, how about the 31 car for Jordan Anderson Racing? This will once again be driven by Parker Retzlaff. Parker Retzlaff has some solid speed throughout 2024, but he's also made some mistakes and has gotten caught up in some incidents. If he can clean up getting involved in the incidents and wrecks, I certainly think he could have a chance to make the playoffs this year. If not, it's going to be tough to make it, but I think he certainly will finish likely in the top 15 in points, and I think he could have a very good run this weekend at Circuit of the Americas. Up next, how about the 32 car for Jordan Anderson Racing? This will be the debut of Austin Green in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. For those who do not know, Austin Green is the son of David Green, a legend of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He's been racing in the Trans Am Series. He was supposed to race at Peterson Racing Group. It sounds like that deal might have fallen through at this point. We're not sure if they're going to be showing up, but he will get his debut this weekend at COTA. Up next, how about the 35 car for Joey Gase Motorsports? This will be driven by Alex Abey for the first time this year. Alex Abey, while he's not going to be in a car that's shown a lot of speed, if there's anybody that can get the best out of equipment, it is definitely Alex Abey. I wouldn't be surprised or shocked if he gets a top 20 this weekend. If he can do that, I think that is going to be very impressive for the Canadian driver who's been a champion of the Penny Series. Up next, how about the 39 car for RSS Racing? This will once again be driven by Ryan Sieg. Ryan Sieg's off to a much better start in 2024 than last year went. And he's, I think, in the playoffs currently at the moment, which is kind of crazy considering I didn't think he was going to have a great year. He needs to continue having the momentum, and I'm not sure if he will have the momentum, though, this weekend at COTA. Up next, how about the 42 car for Young's Motorsports? This will once again be driven by Leland Honeyman. Leland Honeyman's off to a very, very good start in 2024 for his standards. He's in the top 20 in points. He's in a really great position at owner's points currently at the moment. And I certainly would not be surprised if Leland Honeyman does have another good performance. He's shown some pace and speed throughout the year and has been very impressive with Young's Motorsports this season. Up next, how about the 43 car for Alpha Prime Racing? This will once again be driven by Ryan Ellis. Ryan Ellis has had some really good performances this year, and Ryan Ellis in the top 20 in the standings, which I don't think anybody saw coming into 2024. I think if Ryan Ellis can survive the big wreck and carnage, I think he could have a good day. If not, it is what it is, because he hasn't been entirely amazing at road courses in his career. Up next, how about the 44 car for Alpha Prime Racing? This will once again be driven by Brennan Poole. Brennan Poole's off to a very impressive start in 2024. He has finished in the top 20 in all 4 races. He hasn't finished higher than 15 for anything like that, but he's been consistently in the top 20 in every single race, which will get you to every single race and make it into the show. I expect Brennan Poole to get in our top 20 and maybe even get a top 15. If he can survive all the carnage and the chaos that we've seen in COTA in the past, I think he could have a very strong run. Up next, how about the 45 car for Alpha Prime Racing? This will be the first race that Brad Perez is going to run in Xfinity in 2024. Brad Perez, in my opinion, is a really underrated race car driver, has been running at COTA and road courses in the past, and like I said, Alpha Prime Racing has been more impressive this season than previous years. I think that Brad Perez is one to watch out for that could get a top 25 at Circuit of the Americas. Up next, top of the 48 car for Big Machine Racing. This will once again be driven by Parker Kligerman. Parker Kligerman's been off to a little bit of an okay start in 2024, but we're going to a type of track where he's ran really good, and that is road courses. I expect Parker Kligerman to be underrated and an underdog for this weekend, and maybe a threat to win because he was really good at some of the road courses last year, was fast at Indy, was fast at Watkins Glen, and was really strong at Portland as well. I do think he has a good chance and opportunity to contend for a very good run this weekend in the number 48 car for Big Machine. Up next, how about the 50 car for Preston Pardus' family? This will once again be driven by Preston Pardus, who will make his first of 4 starts more than likely in 2024. Preston Pardus, a really good racer in the road racing scene, currently drives for Rick Ware in the Mazda MX-5 Cup Series currently at the moment. I think that Preston Pardus is someone to watch out for. He's going to have to make the show on owner's points. He doesn't have any owner's points going in this race, but I certainly do think that Preston Pardus could be a shocker to get a top 15 if he can make the show this weekend in the number 50. Up next, how about the 51 car for Jeremy Clements Racing? So once again be driven by Jeremy Clements. Jeremy Clements has been off to an okay start this year, but not spectacular, which doesn't shock a lot of people considering that Jeremy Clements Racing hasn't been the fastest organization the last couple of seasons. He's looking to have a good performance this weekend. I'm not sure if he will run, though he has won a road course race before, so you never know at this point how he is going to do at COTA. Up next, how about the 81 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This will once again be driven by Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith's off to a really great start in 2024, but I don't expect much from him this weekend. He is not a guy that I think is on the ones to watch because unfortunately he's not been a great road racer in the past. Though he has shown decent performances, he's not going to be a threat in my opinion this weekend, but Chandler Smith's off to a great start, already getting that win and leading a ton of laps that I'm not worried about his championship aspirations at this point in that 81. Up next, how about the 91 car for DGM Racing? This will once again be driven by Kyle Weatherman. Kyle Weatherman's off to kind of a mediocre start in 2024, but to be fair, he's been qualifying very, very well. I'm not sure how he's going to do this weekend at Circuit Americas, but there is a team like DGM Racing who always puts the eggs in the basket of these road courses, so we'll see how he does with DGM Racing this weekend at COTA. Up next, how about the 92 car for DGM Racing? This will once again be driven by Josh Bilicki. Josh Bilicki will be making his second start of 2024, and he's a pretty solid road course racer and has a lot of road racing experience. I do believe that Josh Bilicki will have a very good showing. I don't think he's going to be a threat or contender for the win, but we know that DGM Racing is good at road courses, especially at this track. Up next, how about the 97 car for Kaulig Racing? This will once again be driven by Shane Van Gisbergen. Shane Van Gisbergen has been very solid in 2024. He has had 3 finishes at 4 or 5 races so far up to this point, and he's only had 1 finish outside the top 12 this year. And we're going to type of track where he's really good at. I think Shane Van Gisbergen might be one of the favorites, and I think he will absolutely be battling for the win this weekend at COTA, not just in the Xfinity Series, but more than likely in the Cup Series as well. I think he's going to have a great chance and opportunity to get it done at COTA. And finally, let's talk about the 98 car for Stewart-Haas Racing. This, of course, once again to be driven by Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst has been very good this season. He's shown a lot of pace and speed, has led a lot of laps. He's been getting closer and closer to winning races, and while I don't think he's going to be a threat to win, I think he's got a good chance for top 5. We'll see what Riley Herbst can do, but certainly I do believe that Riley Herbst in this 98 team are going to show up with a lot of great pace and a lot of great speed this weekend at Circuit of the Americas. So, that is the entry list for the 2024 Focus Health 250. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support on Patreon as well. Link description below with that, and comment your thoughts below on today's video. Who's your early pick to win the Xfinity Series race at COTA? Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, I have Truck Series race picks for COTA. I'm going to have a news video dropping. I'm also going to have Xfinity Series race picks for COTA. Then on Thursday, I'm going to have the Cup Series race picks for COTA. And I'm also going to have the paint scheme video dropping as well. Got a ton of great content dropping on the channel that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.